How have you noticed music influence
fashion? Well, it sort of came up in the last couple of questions. I think it's really, if you can get a band that's kind of got a lot, as much thought into their look as they do their music, you can get that whole package together. You're looking at real potential. I think I was talking about the way the Strokes came out in the early 2000s, looking like well, anyway, when they first emerged, not only they were playing this kind of really classic rock and roll, but they looked perfect. They just stepped off the streets of New York with their skinny jeans on, their jackets and their Converse. If you can kind of infuse your music with a sort of street style and an image that really kind of matches together, then you've got you're gonna hit gold, as it were. And what I was saying about Lady Gaga as well, the fact that she's kind of fused a real kind of imaginative visual appeal to what is classic pop music. I mean, there's nothing more boring than just a bunch of blokes playing guitar, playing guitar music, just looking like four blokes down the local pub. But what I kind of resent is when marketing involves manufacturing other bands and having them dress in a way that they sort of be widely styled. I think it's better when it comes naturally from the musicians themselves in an ideal world. But of course, Lady Gaga, she's just got an absolutely massive budget to pay for daily kind of recycling of costumes and different styles. So everyone has that sort of money.
So do you think that the image is the importance of the music?
Yeah, I think it's certainly not unheard of for a musician or a band to put more sort of thought into the way they look than their songs. But it kind of depends on the way in which they're being manufactured. If the people behind the band think that they can, for example, say the Pussycat Girls, if they think they can make more money from just projecting a sort of 5 strippers upon the world and not really worry about the music, then people will potentially go and buy it. But for me, I'm kind of interested in stuff that seems authentic and natural and hasn't been forced. But as I say, I mean, musicians have to recognise the fact that they're not just going out there to play music, but people want a lot of things from them.
Yeah. And how much, if ever, does your work incorporate fashion?
I did write a blog actually about Lady Gaga about 6 months ago, which was titled "Where Does Lady Gaga Get Her Outfits From?" Because my girlfriend was at the Royal College of Art until recently, and one of the fellow students there, who graduated maybe a year before her, is now sort of behind her costumes. So I had to do quite a lot of research into the background of this girl, I can't remember her name, and also the House of Gaga, I think it's called, the sort of behind all of her visual sort of side. That would probably be one of the only examples I can think of whereby fashion had any kind of specific impact. I guess, although I mean I have done stuff on kind of iconic pop culture, looks, haircuts, and that's all part of fashion, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. And what is the future of the convergence of music and fashion?
Oh, I mean, what's the future? Well, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I do wonder whether there will ever come a time when you can actually buy versions of, couldn't Gaga create her own fashion brand? I mean, you get that already, don't you, with some pop stars on sort of limited scale, like Lily Allen did some stuff for the Topshop.
She's got her own.
Or was it H&M? Yeah, and she's got her own boutique as well, obviously. I think it's kind of, I'm wondering whether it would ever be a kind of commercially viable idea for someone like Lady Gaga to produce versions of her clothes that could be bought, because it kind of diminishes their power a little bit for them to be worn on the street. I mean, surely the best thing about them is the fact that they're unique and one-off. I think that I would imagine that in terms of what the future would be like, it wouldn't surprise me if it just mirrors the past. Bands will come out wearing a certain style of clothes, and fans will adopt that look because they want to be like them. It doesn't necessarily have to have any more complicated direction to it than that.
And do you ever try and imitate the musician style? Or?
Not really, no. As I said to someone earlier on, I think the only kind of way in which I might have done that only is just to have bought a band t-shirt once or twice. I bought a jacket a few years ago from Reese that someone said made me look like I was disabled. That was an accident. So I don't necessarily get influenced, I don't think, by musicians in that sense.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.